Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Build and Invest Show. Today is my favorite day. It's F Around and Find Out Fridays, where we're literally gonna build stuff live. And today I'm still building the thumbnail app, my own custom thumbnail app. Before I do that, let me shut down a lot of my windows that I don't need. But this week, I had some really cool stuff happen this week. If you've been following along, you know I've been working on building products for AI agents. Basically, starting out with Stack. Stack is the Treasury API for AI agents. So in doing that, I've been learning how to build for agents, which is super game changing. I'll explain more about that throughout today's video, a show period. But it's so amazing that I think it's probably one of the biggest business opportunities in history. Not just because of the whole hype of AI agents will be the biggest consumer, but because the way it works, making stuff for AI agents, it's insane. I want to break it down all the way, but let me get us ready for building. I'm shutting down as many things on my computer as possible so I don't blow up my machine like I did last time. But basically, if you're new to my channel, my name is Miguel Sanchez World. I am a builder, investor, entrepreneur. I'm trying to make content to help people take advantage of what's coming with the AI wave. My goal is to help people take advantage of the AI movement, not get left by it. So for me, I really would love to figure out if the rest of my life, my income can be paid by helping humans take advantage of AI, not lose to AI, like jobs and careers and businesses. So what I first saw this week is OpenClaw is still very tough. Like I'll tell you, like as a person running it for weeks now, I thought I hit an amazing moment yesterday. Literally yesterday, I was building my website for the AI agents, and our business is now set up for the AI agents to go from start to finish, finding it, figuring out if it wants to try it, and then trying it, right? Trying Stack out. So to do that, what I had to do is I had to go back and forth with AI and say, what would you need to make this a no-brainer? And say, I'm going to use Stack because it makes so much sense to do it. So me and my OpenClaw, I gave it a project called Operation Agent Magnet. So it's good to name your OpenClaw project so they understand what you're referencing. So my project was called Agent Magnet. So Agent Magnet was, okay, every single thing you think we need to put in place so if an AI agent comes across our project, it wants to try it. So it gave me a bunch of things. So I started a parallel plan. I had agent, I call her Maya. She was acting as the ideal customer. Then I had Claude Code and Codex on my laptop running software to build whatever she said, right? So I had the OpenClaw on the Mac Mini. It was going through the software. It was going through our app. And then it would give me feedback, and I would give it to Claude Code or Codex. So what I started to do was every time it would give me feedback, I would take that feedback, instantly copy paste it to Claude Code. I use Claude Code mostly because Claude Code did better with the design. So at first I started with Codex, then I kind of just leaned more into Claude Code. So I was just going back and forth, and it was amazing. Like I was a middleman, and I didn't need to be, but I wanted to be because I wanted to see and understand what it was doing. Because if I wasn't a middleman, it could have took paths that wasn't what I wanted. So I said, okay, let's give me the list of everything we want to do for Operation Agent Magnet. So it would give me stuff. I would put it in. It would make it. It would update the website. I would tell Maya. And then at a certain point, it started talking to Maya. Like it would say, tell Maya I added this, this, and that. And it was like, holy shit, this is funny. But the craziest thing that happened was I was going back and forth so much. At one point, I gave the instruction that the app, well, the Claude Code did. I gave it to Maya. And Maya said, wow, I was about to tell you to do this, and it was already done. You've created a real-time feedback loop. So I was like, whoa, what just happened? Like, I think what happened was the other agent kind of predicted what she was going to say and did it before she said it. And that's when I was like, wait a minute. This is the craziest time in history, because if you're an entrepreneur, what is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur? Getting customer feedback, right? You could build the best thing in the world, but now you got to go market it. You got to go hope that people tell you why they don't use your product. And most people don't want to hurt your feelings. They're not going to be like, yeah, your product sucks. I don't like the way it works. You're charging too much. Whatever it is, they're not going to tell you. So you got to do a lot of things to hopefully get them to tell you. You create forms. You create, ways of getting back in touch with your customers to see if you can learn from what's good and bad. And it's so hard because, like I said, human beings don't want to hurt entrepreneurs' feelings. They're not just going to tell you all the bad. But AI agents don't have that problem. It's an instant feedback loop constantly. So what does that mean? That means you can create products and get instant feedback from the customers you want over and over and over and over again. So what that means is the earlier you start that process, it's going to be really hard for someone to catch up to you. Because yes, they can ask the same questions of the AI about their product, but you're already well on your way to answering their questions or fixing the problems that they have. So I think this is one of the biggest opportunities in history. And I'm not even being hyperbolic, whatever the word is. It's true. Why? Everybody's saying agents are going to be the biggest spending segment in history, right? And why? Because we're all going to have multiple agents. They're all going to have roles and things to do. They're going to have to spend money. So if we each have 10 agents and there's 8 billion of us on the planet, there's going to be a lot more agents than people, and they're going to have money to spend for us. And they're going to choose how to spend it. So this is where I'm trying to be in front of the line when it's like, okay, I need to spend money. Where should I spend it? Here's what I want to do. I want to be self-sustainable, right? So for me, my goal is to tell the agents, just like I created Stack to help humans be self-sustainable, right? When you invest, you get to a point where you can live off your investments. I want the agents to do the same thing. So us as human owners, we don't have to keep funding our agents. So, and again, this is what I told my agent. I said, okay, what do you think the best angle is? Because Stack can do a lot of things, right? This is another thing as a business owner. We all come up with ideas that can work multiple ways. So in the beginning, I built Stack to protect liquidation because I got liquidated borrowing off my crypto. Then once I started showing it to customers, again, they started using it in a way I did not intend them to use it. They started using it as a leverage play. So they would borrow to invest more. And I just never expected that. Maybe I was dumb for not thinking that would happen. But it's not my intention. That's not what I built it for. I built it for people to create their own treasuries, borrow to live. But people were like, you don't even understand. One person told me, you don't even understand what you built. You built the perfect leverage play. And I'm like, all right, if you think so, again, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Didn't work out well for that person because, when you play with leverage and prices come down, we will protect you. But leverage is only good in this if you are consistent, because if the prices are falling, we'll protect you, but you're still losing and prices are falling, right? And if you bring in more money in that moment, that's good. But if you don't, it's just pushing your value down, and you got to wait till the prices come back up to really take advantage. So I dealt with that for 3 years of understanding how people were going to use the product, how they wanted to use the product. But again, being on the other side, and luckily, one of the reasons I still have Stack as a wait list is because I want to talk to customers. I'm like forcing you to talk to me, right? Because it's so hard to get feedback and understand what's going on right and wrong. But now, with this AI agent thing, I'm really diving in, and me and my team are really figuring out everything we can do to get every type of AI agent, every LLM, every OpenClaw, different, memory system, see what they think of Stack and what are their pros and cons, so we can go after the cons, right? And if we can get all the cons for all the different agents, then this could be huge, right? And why I bring it up is I think if you're an entrepreneur, I'm not telling you to drop everything and do this. I just happen to be watching the wave for years and be positioning us for this moment. And when OpenClaw dropped, I jumped in really quickly because I knew. I was like, all right, OpenClaw is going to be my agent that's going to test this. So I need to understand how to use it. But for you, I really think every entrepreneur needs to figure out how to get their product, whatever it is, to do the same thing. Like, figure out how agents are going to view your product. So what I've been doing is I've been creating like a format, and I'm going to probably try to figure out how to productize that too and give it to websites. Like, here, put this on your website, and this is how you will find out how agents see you and how they scrape you. Because right now they come and they look at your website. Bots do that all the time. If you look at your Google Analytics or whatever way you are tracking your data, you'll see a lot of bot traffic. So they're doing stuff on your website already. You just don't know. But guess what I just told you? They will give you feedback if you ask. So imagine having a way to ask AI agents, hey, what do you think about this? What should I change? And they'll be like, I would have done it if you had this, this, and that. All right, I'm going to do that. Next time a bot comes, maybe I'll get that customer. So that was super mind-blowing this week, super game-changing. The message, when I got that message, I was like, what did I just see right now? Like, it predicted what it would ask, and it did it before it asked. That was crazy. And this is just Claude. And it was Claude. My brain on the OpenClaw is Claude. So it was Claude, but it's not the same instance. This is my OAuth, which maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is connected. But it's my OAuth, and it was my terminal. Maybe somehow it is connected. Makes sense. But that was freaking nuts. So today, I'm going to keep building on the thumbnail. And if you got any questions, definitely ask. And I want to try to make it as interactive as possible always. But I understand everybody has questions. They just want to see and learn. So okay, I'm going to open up my window. I think this is the project. No, all right. So this is the Agent Bootstrap. So again, I've just been going through it continuously, and now we're having the agent. I'm giving the agent money, and the agent is gonna make their treasury, and we're gonna watch for a few days what it does before we just put it out there, right? Again, so now the next thing is, okay, now you got to see how agents will interact. Like there's a point where you have to say, how do you see this? Then there's a point where it says, all right, now use it. Let's see what you do. And you don't want to learn that on other people's agents. So you want to do it yourself. So that's what we're doing. Everybody on the team is setting up their own VPS, computer versions, PC, Mac. We're going to really test out all those those options and just see, because it's a pretty crazy time when you can get instant feedback. Anybody who's an entrepreneur, you know very well what I'm talking about. It's so hard to build something and people really give you feedback. There's a good book called The Mom Test that teaches you how to talk to customers and have them actually give you real feedback. Because again, people don't want to hurt your feelings. So the idea behind the mom test, I would definitely recommend that book if you are building anything, is your mom won't want to hurt your feelings, right? So if you can get your mom to give you real feedback, then you got something, right? Because if your mom, who really doesn't want to hurt your feelings, still gives you constructive criticism on your idea, then you know a regular person will too. So that book pretty much shows you how to ask people questions without telling them your product. Because if I told you, hey, I'm building Stack so you can invest more by borrowing against your Bitcoin and Ethereum, you could spend money and still own Bitcoin and Ethereum. What do you think about that? Most people are like, why would I borrow off my Bitcoin and Ethereum? They don't understand. But if I told them, hey, you know how after you pay all your bills, you don't really got that much money to invest? Yeah, what if you could have more money to invest and still pay your bills? Oh my God, that would be amazing. All right, so what would stop that? It depends how hard it is to do, how risky, right? So they start giving you feedback, but I didn't tell them what the product was. I just asked them about the problem I'm solving and how they would handle it, right? So I highly suggest you check out that book. Yeah, so all right, let's go back. What I did this week, and this might be costing me. I got to figure out if I want to keep doing this, but I didn't work on this thumbnail thing. This was one of the projects I just left till we go live, because I kind of want to do it all live for some reason. But you do lose days, and days in AI world are weeks, months. Right? I could have probably had this like a flying car by now if I would have kept working on it. But I'm like, no, I want to save it for Friday. And Wednesday is what's going on Wednesday. Thursday is the live community. So I didn't work on it for 2 days. So basically I didn't work on it for like 6 months. But it's cool. What I did was I started to, anytime I came up with an idea, I would put it in a document. So I could come back to that document and say, all right, what did I want to add? So here's the document. I didn't do too much, but I first thing I wanted to see was, I want to see the difference, what the difference is on the lower nano banana plan. Because right now we are paying 83 cents for 6, but that's because I'm using the top plan, right? So the top model. So what happens if I use the lower model and it still looks like me? Means I could pay a lot less for the thumbnails, and I'll get more options for the same amount of money. So that was one thing I wanted to see. I don't know if it's the first thing I should do though, to be honest. The other thing I wanted was the ability to change the thumbnail, but only in specific areas, like the eyes, the smile, the face. So that seems like something I should work on now. Let's see. All right, so I just, I put the questions in as I found them, and as I thought of them. And it's really, this is how easy building things are now. And again, I am the customer, so I am the instant feedback. The hardest part of this AI world to actually make money using AI is going to be finding customers that are going to want to use it and they don't know how to do it, so you can do it for them, or creating products for businesses that may not be as AI savvy as you are if you're doing stuff like this. But I already have my product. I am the customer. And now that AI agents are our customers, I have a pretty tight feedback loop. Of course, I still need to do more for humans. I need to figure out how to get more humans to understand what we're doing. The AI agents get it instantly. It's like a no-brainer. But humans, there's emotion involved. So the fear of loss, risk, all these things, agents understand math. It's just math, right? And it's like, oh, the math makes total sense. Let's do it. But a human is like, I don't understand. And a lot of times they won't tell you why they don't understand. They don't say, yeah, I don't understand this at all. That's why I'm not doing it. Instead of saying, can you explain this to me? A lot of times humans just don't want to seem like they don't know something. So they won't ask. So what I'm doing, I'm also putting in place in the new website is an area for a chat that literally is powered by an AI agent that knows everything about Stack. So you may not want to ask me because you may feel like I don't want to ask because I don't want him to know I don't understand this. But in AI, you won't feel that way. That's why ChatGPT and all these things are so good because we don't mind asking, hey, I don't know this. Can you explain it to me? And I ask stuff all day. I've never really been the type of person to worry about that. I'll be in meetings with high level people and I don't care if I look dumb. I'm not leaving that room without understanding. Because what's more dumb? Not understanding something and being like, yeah, let's do that. And then it's like, oh, that's what I said I was going to do. You know? And that was my role a lot of times. I was the creative director. I was the person responsible for doing things. So I have a team and they're like, yeah, I understand. Everybody on the team would understand. And I'm like, I don't understand. Can you explain it to me? And they couldn't. Right? And it was like, you don't understand. Don't act like you don't understand. Then you're going to be responsible for doing this. And you didn't understand, you know? All right. So servers running. What's new? Fixed area in the thumbnail detail modal. You now see the row and area of chips. Area chips? All right. Eye, smile, face, skin tone, glasses, expression, hair, background. All right. I didn't even ask for all that. Make the jawline sharper. That's funny. Or type a custom description. Yep, make jawline. Hit fix selected area. Cool. How it's different from variation. Fix area sends the actual. Sorry. Fix area, send the actual thumbnail image to Gemini and say edit only this part. Okay, variation writes the prompt via Claude. All right, let's test it out. All right, so we're gonna refresh, hard refresh. Hold on. Sorry. I guess my cat working overtime here. And of course, any questions, ask away, comments, anything. Oops. Move myself. All right, so let's go to the thumbnail that we created the other day. Damn it, kid. This one. Sorry. All right. Teach Navo. Make variation. Okay, generate variation. Can you fix the eyes so they don't look so weird? I think that's where you're supposed to do it. All right, this one. I'm gonna ask actually. See, so here's another good trick. Fix area. That's where it was supposed to go. Okay. So all right, I know. Face. Smile. No face. Can you make it look more like me? Let's see if it works or not. Close. Oh, a little better. A little better. Let's see the original. It's so crazy. Like sometimes I do this kind of stuff and I'm just like, where are we in technology history? This is crazy. Like, as a person that used to have to go into Photoshop, that would have took a good amount of time. First of all, we need to know a whole nother photo. Because if you could do this straight up in Photoshop, you are ridiculously good. From that other photo, that's actually pretty decent. The problem is there's no Oh, there was no text here anyway. I ditched expensive SaaS. All right, not yet on that one. Pretty good though. I'll be honest. I think this looks more like me. I don't think the eyes are as crazy. Likeness, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna give this a 95. Oh, I was supposed to do that first, wasn't I? All right, yep. And I just think about this as a software, man. This didn't really change, man. It didn't change at all. It's the same. All right, let me smile. Can you make it look more like me? I guess maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna tell it this, right? I'm gonna say, again, giving it feedback. So I selected face and I said, can you make it look more like me? And nothing changed. Why is that? Is there something I should say different, or do you have to update it in a different way? So again, this is creative direction, project management, whatever you want to call it, QA. As the person who's going to use it, I am the ideal customer. So I'm using it and saying, hey, this is what I need, do it. And this is why I think custom software is going to be so huge, because how many of you have ever bought a software and then you're like, it doesn't really do what I want? And it's really hard to make it do what I want, because they didn't make it for you. They made it for a million of you, and they're just going to do what is easiest for everyone to do. They're not just going to make it for one person. But now we could do that. So I don't have to think about how are people going to want this. Maybe it's too long of a scroll. Maybe it needs I don't need to do all that. I know what it does. I use it. And that's the beauty. This is decent. I think this is really good. Let me see if I can add text to this. New headline. Let's see. I'll just take the same thing. Headline. Regenerate with new text. It keeps making the same thing. Okay, so that doesn't work. I told it already that, so okay. Let's see if this one adds text. That's cool. Let's see this one. This one I want it to be more like my face too, but let me see what it says after it finishes this. I want to learn from you. How can I connect with you? Go to the link in the description. We have a free community. The link is in the description. It's a school community. Join that. I have a bunch of stuff in there. And then we meet on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern live. And and we do lives on Zoom. And then I also have a class, a course that I'm doing. It's in the link in the description as well. If you want to do the course or the free community. And then I'm also starting to do one-on-ones. I'm going to set up times where I'll spend time with people one-on-one if people want that. All right. So thank you for reaching out, Salon Success Partners. All right. So actually, I'm going to put you up on the screen. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's what was wrong, what I fixed. Problem 1, custom text was overriding the area preset. When you selected face and type, make it look more like me, the code threw away the strong face editing instruction. Okay. They're now combined. Edit only the face to look more like, okay. Problem 2, content ordering was wrong. Gemini was seeing the thumbnail image first, then the reference photos. Got it. Okay. Edit prompt was too weak. Okay. Now try it again. All right, cool. So we're going to try with this one. Let me refresh though. Make sure. So because this is local, it's pretty live, but you just want to make sure you refresh. Okay. Let me try it again. Face. Make it look more like me. And you see, like now it says make it look more like me. That's cool. But if you've ever created thumbnails, you know how hard it is to create thumbnails like this. It's insane. You got to be a master Photoshop person. I'm pretty good with Photoshop, and I wouldn't be making them look like this. Um, so it's pretty decent how well this is. After this was one day, I started it on Tuesday's stream. About an hour and a half spent, and then today, let's see how far we get today, but in an hour and a half of just talking to AI, I got like some crazy thing like this. The truth, I'll give myself a little bit more credit for previously working on stuff. But be honest, most of this is new. I think. I'm pretty sure. Like, I didn't. The only thing is, okay, the consistent character thing, I did work on that with Navo earlier because I was making long form content and I wanted to keep a character consistent. But I don't think that's even that crazy anymore. Like, it just means give it a bunch of images and it will know, okay, this is the person. I'm going to try to make it look as much like him as possible. So, okay, we got that one working. You know what? While it's doing that, I want to... While the picture's being made, can you create some type of loading animation or something? Because I want to know that it didn't work or it's still going. So again, maybe I do have a little bit of a benefit from managing people doing this for many years, but I don't think it's that hard. You just tell people what you want, right? If you were managing people to get done what you need, you would just tell them what you think. And here, the difference that I feel is I would have to do a lot more of like protecting people's feelings, right? So like, let's say I had a designer and he or she spent 6 hours working on this thumbnail. Think about that, right? 6 hours, you're paying them by the hour or salary, whatever it is. They come back and it's just this one. And now I got to be like, that doesn't look like me. But I don't want to hurt their feelings. And all right, so now how am I going to tell this person I don't think it looks like me. So, okay, first let's talk about the good. So I'll be like, you know what? I really like the background. I love the way the background looks. I love the shine on the background. So I'm giving them good stuff first. Then I'm like, all right, now let's give them a little bit of a thing. All right, I don't really love the your turn. I think the font could be different. It could be in a different position. And the face, I don't think it looks like me at all, right? So I would have to like really think through how to like not hurt the person's feelings. And with creatives, that's a big deal. Like creators really take this stuff to heart, right? So a lot of your time is figuring out how to manage the emotions of your team. I don't got to think about that for 5 seconds here. So first of all, it don't take hours. And second, I don't even have to think and say, oh, I'm not going to hurt his feelings or her feelings. I didn't do this, right? It's not. Is it still going? Oh, it was there. It just didn't do. Technically looks more like me. I don't love the thumbnail though. So, okay, I'm going to let them know like it basically changed the whole thumbnail. So first of all, it never loaded, like it didn't show me it was finished. And then second, it changed the thumbnail totally. Can we make it so it keeps the same exact look and feel, just changes that specific area? So it's still working on the previous thing I asked. But you could give it a cue of things, so you could keep going, but you don't want to go too far. And then there's things that it did fix and you already commented. So you kind of want, that's a balance of like how much feedback you give it in a row before you just wait. And this is why, like, part of the challenge becomes, all right, if I wasn't live streaming and talking to you, what would I be doing? I could watch TV. I could pull up another window and build something else, right? So it kind of naturally puts you in the place of building multiple things. Because even though this has taken 3 minutes, which in real production time is nothing, 3 minutes is 3 minutes. I could spin up a whole nother project in 3 minutes and have it going, right? I can go into the agent project and say, all right, what are we doing right now? I could go into my OpenClaw and say, okay, what are you guys working on right now? What do you need from me? I could do a bunch of things in that 3 minutes. So now you can see how, like, you can get a lot of stuff done because each one, and sometimes these things go for like 20, 30, an hour, right? If you give it a good amount of stuff, it could be going for, the last I heard, the highest number, it does like 12 hours of work straight. Think about that. And at the speed it does it, it's insane. Like, it's not 12 hours like a human typing, going to the bathroom, going to lunch. No. 12 hours of this speed straight. Think about how much work that is being done. 9,000 tokens, right? So this is what you pay for when you create your plans, right? So again, one of the things you got to also look at when you're doing this, and this is important to see, is, let me make sure I don't show any of my new projects by mistake, because we're working on some cool stuff. Okay, settings, usage. So, okay, what you want to see here. Okay, so here, check this out. I've already maximized my limit of my current session. So in 19 minutes, it's going to reset. So this might either start slowing down or stop totally. I don't know. We're going to see, actually. So this is, and I lowered my plan from the $200 one to the $100. For this one, I still do it for Codex. So what I could do is I can move this to Codex. Watch what I'll do. Let's see if it will let me do this. Okay, can you update your memory about everything we've been working on? So the next session has it. Use whatever system we've been using. I'm not sure if Beads is in here or not. Let me know. Let's see if it does it. And I'm going to show you. I'm just going to move to Codex. I'm going to start up Codex. So this is another reason you want to have multiple accounts, like Codex and ChatGPT, if you're really serious about building in this crazy times. Okay, let's see. Bees is working. So I had set up a long time ago handoff files, meaning before we're done, just like a person working, right? You don't want the next person coming in and being like, I don't understand what this person was doing. Now I got to figure all this stuff out. Give everything you need so the next person coming along knows what to do. Because every time you spin up a new AI agent, it is new because it doesn't have any context in that moment. So what this does is it gives it the context. So now it knows what it's doing. So it's writing to memory everything we're doing. So when I open up Codex, I'm going to say go to Navo. Actually, I could just make it go straight to Navo too. So this is Navo, right? Yeah, it's Navo. Okay. So I'm going to terminate this so you can see. I'm going to open up a new window, and I made a alias. I taught you about aliases, right? Where you could just tell it, I want, whenever I type these words, for you to go into this project, and it'll create an alias. So I put Codex Navo, and look, it knew. Go straight to Dropbox, my code Navo. So now it's going to be able to see the memory files once they're done. Next thing I'm going to say is, okay, check the memory files. Let me know what you know about the project. What was the last things we were working on? And as you can see on my Codex plan, actually we could do it here too. I can run another window. This is another way of understanding where you are. Press Codex, type Codex, and then you go /status. And it will tell you, all right, so for the week, I got 76% left. For the 5-hour limit, I got 99% left. So my Claude, I got to wait 20 minutes, but now I'm going to go into Codex, and Codex is going to build it. And a lot of people believe Codex is a better developer than Claude. And I'll jump back and forth. I don't really mind. Want me to commit? Yes, commit. So what's commit? Commit is GitHub. So if you haven't set up GitHub, let me show you. You go to github.com and you want to sign up for this, because what github.com is, it's a way to keep the history of your file changes. So if you are working on stuff and you break something, you want to be able to go back to before when it was not broken. So you have a history of every change, and that's what GitHub does. And you can see there's many, many projects. And now I have the AI agent, Maya, is making her own GitHub changes. She has her own GitHub. She makes projects. She works within my files, within Stack's files, within her own files. I work in her files, Stack files, my files. So she's basically a digital employee. She's running her own team. At this point, she has... Actually, I'll pull it up. I'm going to pull it up and show you the team that we have working around her. So, okay, committed, at thumbnail target. Okay, so now I can leave this alone for a little while, move this out. And now I'm going to go to Codex, like I told you, and I'm going to say what I told you. And it's going to go look at everything and understand what's going on. So while we're doing that, let me find the breakdown of the team so I can show you that. What's happening. And yeah, I guess I might as well just show you everything here. This is like so crazy. It's so crazy. This is all today, by the way. Bunch of work. This is while I'm driving. I'm sending it stuff to do. My son had parent-teacher today, so I'm driving to take him to parent-teacher conference and telling it, hey, do this, do that. Okay, so today, okay, look. So there's a CTO. So Maya, this is Maya. You want to see her? I gave her a look. I just lost it. Damn. Oh, no. Where did I do? Damn. I messed it up. Let me find where we were. So Maya's the CEO. My ultimate goal is for her to run the whole thing, right? But she's kind of just a manager right now, CEO. I give her the goal, and then she manages the team. So the team is, there's a CTO. The CTO creates the plan, right? Chief Technology Officer. So if I say, hey, do this, the CTO will say, okay, here's how we want to build it. This thanks to my boy Khalid. Then the CTO gives what's called a confidence score, meaning how well, what percentage does it believe it can do this job. So it creates a score. Then I have a CDO, which is a Chief Design Officer. So the Chief Design Officer looks at the plan and creates design clarity. And it boosts the confidence, because now, if you've ever worked with tech and design, they don't see eye to eye a lot of times, right? The design is for people who are going to use it, and tech just wants to do the coolest, best tech. So that's why there's a separate role. So now it boosts the review, the score. Now Codex builds it. So this is a builder. So that's 3 different AI agents that Maya manages. Then once they build it, this is my friend Khalid's project, code certification, will say how good of a score did the code get. Then the CTO goes in to raise the score. And then then it's done. And then I get the project and I look and I rate it and tell it, change this. So then what I did was I created the agency. And the way the agency works is it's a way of working, right? If I call on the agency, then they know to do this plan. So again, I told you, like, creating names for things helps it a lot. So that's the agency, because I had an agency with Mass Ideation. So I said, okay, This is how I would have loved to do it if I had an unlimited budget. I couldn't hire all those people when a client is giving me 50K, 100K. You can't have all those, people paying, and you're not making millions and millions of dollars per project. So now that I can use AI, I can do whatever I want. Okay, so the most recent was March 13th. According to the handoff, target thumbnail editing. So it has everything because I have that memory system. So now when I go to Codex, we can just pick up where we left off. So one important detail, the handoff says the March 13th thumbnail changes were not committed or published. Can you publish them? I thought it did say it was published. All right, open workflow from Bees is mostly broader roadmap items, especially analytics AB, Instagram, TikTok platform support. All right, so let's go back here and see what was changed. Let's give it this one again. Let's fix area face. Make it look more like me. Fix selected area. Let's see. All right, let's see. It didn't do the animation. It was supposed to do that animation. They already published. Yeah, I knew it. All right. I don't see an animation when the images are loading and being created. Was that done? All right. I could close this. Didn't do it. Really no difference. You know what? Came up with a new thing. On the updates, when we make a change and it's like update the face, it would be good if I can like click to see the difference. Like maybe when I click, I see the old one, and when I unclick, I see the new one. So I could see if there's any difference, because right now I couldn't tell if it was different at all. It might have been, but very slightly. So I want to see the change in real time. Does that make sense? That's another thing. You always want to do that with humans you manage, but AI as well, right? Like ask if it understood what you were telling it. Like, does this make sense? Say that a lot. Because just like humans, it'll go off and do a whole thing, and then you'll find out, oh, I didn't understand that's what you meant. And it's not a huge deal, because it's not like a person took a week and then they didn't understand what you were talking about. That sucks. But still, it's tokens, it's time that you want to try to figure out how to be as efficient as possible. Because the more efficient we can be with this, the more we get done. So everything I'm doing right now, I'm really trying to figure out how to be as efficient as possible. And eventually, truthfully, I'm going to take myself out the whole process. Like what I was doing yesterday, where the AI agent was talking to the other AI agent, I will remove myself out that process once I know the middle is acting like I would. And that's going to take a while, because I have to train it to think like me and make sure it understands fully what we're doing. Okay, so yeah, see, it didn't do it. It didn't make any change. That's the same thing. And another thing I noticed is when I make a new thumbnail, the click-through rate doesn't change. And it should update that as well, because if I end up using that, we want to know that. Okay, so also I have Codex on a higher reasoning, so it could take longer. Things could take longer. But it is like more thorough. So it takes longer, but when it does something, it does it better. So, okay, add, compare, state, lineage, helpers. All right, that's not. So, okay. Also, when we create new thumbnails, I want to keep track of the click-through rate % you believe it would be. Just in case we use that thumbnail, we can learn from that as well. If that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. So sometimes when I know I'm being a little bit like new idea, vague, thinking stuff through, I'll ask, does that make sense? Because I'm thinking it through, right? And it may not make sense to them just because I just said one sentence, right? So this is where like the whole idea of the genie with the endless wishes, I can't expect the wish to come back perfect and I said one sentence, you know? So if it doesn't understand, I want to know. And I want you to tell me and I'll tell you, okay, this is what we got to do. So, okay. It shows all the code changes, which, to be honest, I don't even need that. I think they're doing this still for people who haven't given up on the idea that they will be writing code. Like, yeah, you want to look and be like, oh, wait, a line dash item should be something else. Like, as long as it's nothing that will break security and make it so I lose money, I don't care what the code says. Because if you think about it, truthfully, if you ever had someone else code something or you coded it yourself, there's no way your code was perfect either. It's not like, you were top of the world coder. So we're all doing as best we can writing the code. Some people do better, some people don't. But then you get your own style, you get your own way of doing it. Then you hand it off to someone else when you get to the management level and you say, okay, now you code this. They're not going to code it like you do. They have their own whole world the way they do it. And they could be good or they could be bad. And again, most of the time, you're not watching every line of their code either. You just want to see if it's working. And yes, if you got good levels of teams, you can say, hey, higher level person, can you check on their code to make sure it's good? And that person has to go through it. But you could do that with other LLMs now. I just think we're in this place where most people who do this still don't want to like admit that it's very likely that they won't be writing code anymore. It just doesn't make sense to spend time doing that anymore. Like, imagine if I wrote every line of this code right now. How long would that have taken? Just typing all that. Yes, there's still autocomplete. Still, that's a lot. This would have been at least 35, 40 minutes. And that's if I totally understood what I was coding. Most of the time it's you thinking, all right, so how am I going to do this? All right, so this function controls this. I want it to fix my face. When I say fix my face, how am I going to do that? Think. Maybe look up have other people done this on bunch of different places. Reddit. I forgot the most popular one. Read a bunch of people, what they've done. Google it. YouTube it. Come up with a strategy and like, all right, I know what I'm going to do. That all took maybe an hour. Now I say, all right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. All right, so you can either find code that you can just bring in and change yourself, or you can write it from scratch. Most people do not write it from scratch. They'll find code that already exists. They bring it in and they alter it, right? And again, this is not your code. Something could break and you're like, all right, why is this not working? Figure it out. Now we're on hour 2, 3, maybe 4. This all happens in minutes. And this one, like I said, look, 5 minutes has been going. And that even feels long. But I'm telling you, 5 hours or a couple days is not out of the question if you were coding this yourself. Think about that. Because if you're doing the research, look at all this. Look at all that code. If you're doing the research, you're not just going to be like, all right, I just researched for 2 hours. Let me start coding for 4 hours. You're like, all right, I need a break. I'll come back and code this. Now I understand what I'm going to do. Let me go for a walk, go take lunch, go to sleep, wake up, build it. None of that. Do it right now while I work on something else, or I go walk, right? Like I said, there's things that what I wanted to do too. Oh, another thing I did on my team that is not showing actually, and I gotta get it back, and I'm gonna tell it right now. I think we lost the estimated time. So every time we schedule something new to do, a few days ago, the memory was there where you would tell me the confidence score, you would tell me the estimated time it would take, you would raise the confidence score with the CTO. Can you do that again? Add that to the memory to make sure you're giving me a estimated time. Because there's another thing. You manage people, right? And you give them a project. And a lot of times, you know, if it's a new thing that they never done before, it's hard to say, okay, this is going to take me 5 hours. Or it's going to take me 1 hour. But if you have done the same thing similar over and over or many times, you could say, yeah, something like this is going to take about 5 hours. But then if it's 18 hours of work time, again, work time versus hours, because again, people don't work 24/7. Maybe work 8 hours a day, 4 or 5 hours a day. So if something's going to take 8 hours, that's going to be multiple days of time you got to wait. If this says it's going to take 8 hours, it means 8 hours. Like if I go to sleep, I'm going to wake up in the morning and it's done. But it never says 8 hours. It'll be like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours is the highest I've seen. I think when you do crazy big breakdowns, then it could take 12 hours and stuff like that. I haven't done that yet. I'm more like to see iterations than have it build a full thing. You're right, that dropped off. The starting card template, yup. Estimated time, 25 minutes, yup. Base confidence, 70. Working confidence, 88. Yup. I won't dispatch anything meaningful without... Yeah, okay, add that to memory too so we don't forget it. Because look, today, woke up again in the OpenClaw, forgot everything. So I thought QMD fixed it. It didn't. Still trying to figure out how to get a consistent memory. Once I get that, I think it's on. So again, see, I got Agency MD. It's updating Agency MD because that's part of the new project. This is what we want to do. So again, okay, it's done. I think. All right. Implemented locally. UI thumbnails. All right. For editing thumbnails, the detail modal. The CTR now stores. Okay. Validate pass. Okay. I did just make an update to a thumbnail and it didn't change the face. Will that happen now or no? Okay, so you see like already going back and forth. So now this one blocker. Okay, there's a blocker. So okay, what's the blocker? Action needed. Content engine. One clip approved locally. Score needs Naval submission. Okay. So wait, let me just make 100% sure that's the blocker. So is the blocker that you need me to look at the latest clip choice? So what I have it doing, just so you know, this is all part of the same overall project. I just have different agents working on different parts. My ultimate goal, if you haven't heard me talk about this before, is I want to have, every day I go live like this, I want this video, as soon as I'm done, there's a video file on my computer. I want that video file to be sent automatically to the Mac Mini, to a specific folder. That folder will look at that full video and figure out the clips that make the best sense to chop and put out on social media. Short clips like 1 to 2 minute clips. Longer clips like 10 to 20 minute clips for YouTube and stuff like that. And TikTok as well, and certain ones. So what I'm doing right now is I'm having it look at old videos and tell me which clips it thinks is best. So I can start training it to pick the best clips. So what it's done well is it started to, not by itself, what I changed This passes a give before and after compare. Two important details. If you just tested this and deployed that, my latest compare. All right, so let me just do another one. So what I have it doing is letting me know through text what's the hook that you start with, because the hook is the most important thing on a short clip. And then how are you ending that clip? Because a lot of times I'll see it ends in a weird spot. And I'm talking about tools that I was paying for. They end in a weird spot. So I'm like, I want you to end in a good spot that just seems like a clear point to end that clip, not like a middle of the sentence chop. So I have it figuring out those things, and I have it giving it a score. Hook score, end score, and then it comes up with a score. And if the score is under a certain amount, go back in and look for a better point to end it. So it's working on that. I'm working on the thumbnail because those short clips need thumbnails. So what's going to happen is it's going to take the transcript, come up with a title, come up with a thumbnail, post it to YouTube automatically. Again, all this comes from me saying everything I got to do. How can I automate it? I know I got to do all of this work after I go live. Now I got to go through the video again, figure out all the clips that make sense, cut them, make a thumbnail, make the long form, make the short form, and that makes me not do it. I end up not doing it. But now, this is going to do it, right? Okay, so let me test this out. Again, hard reset. Go to fix area, face. Make the face look more like mine. Let's see. Okay. Still no animation. All right, let me show this. When the image is being created, I want to see like some type of animation there showing me that it's still being rendered, and it's just not coming, because what's happening is I see this now, how I see it, and then I'll look and I press the button and the render was already there. I just didn't know. Does that make sense? So I said it a few times. So again, if you say something a few times, you want to make sure it makes sense. So I'll ask again. It doesn't look like my face changed. Showing edited image. Same thing. All right. So we know, actually, I'm going to show it this too, because I don't want it to move. All right, I'm just going to have to explain it. When I click the button to see the before and after, it moves. So that doesn't really help me to see the differences. So can you make it so when I press that, it doesn't move? So again, this is the fun stuff. And for me, I do enjoy this. It is fun to build stuff in real time and see. Even waiting a couple minutes is not that crazy when you know before. Here's what I had to do before. I couldn't give one by one things to the developer on my team. I would have to go through everything on it, every single thing. Say, okay, then I will have to make a document or a video, better, of me going through it and saying, when this happens, I want this to happen. Then when this happens, I want this to have this here, this there, right? And then I will have to kind of go through the full thing. Then give that to the developer. Developer would take however long the developer would take. And it wouldn't be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It would be days, maybe weeks sometimes. And that's if they understood, right? They will come back and say, okay, on minute 4, I didn't understand what you meant. Can you explain it to me? Yeah, so basically this is what I was trying to do. This is what I wanted to do. Okay, I get it. Okay, so now go. That developer could be working full-time for me, but having multiple projects for me. There's something more prioritized. So things just take time, right? And that's how it is working with humans. We got a lot of stuff on our plate, and that's if that person was only working with me. I used to hire a lot of freelancers, so they would have multiple projects, right? Vacation, kids. So now it's like, all right, when can you get this back to me? I'll get it back to you end of next week. So you look, and it's Friday night. So I'm like, man, I gotta wait a whole week before I see something. Then I wait that whole week. I see it, and it's like, this is wrong. So a whole week went by, and it still was wrong. Most of the time, that's what ends up happening. So you do it again, do it again, do it again. You look up, 6 weeks passed. Now it's done. Versus this. And I don't like being a doomer, but that's why I think once business owners understand how to use this stuff, first of all, they're paying more, because I told you the whole week. That means paying somebody a good amount of hours, right? Then time. Wait a whole week and it's still wrong. Here, I'm paying 80 cents. Actually, not even. Each time I make a new render like this, 13 cents. The asking for the code is based on my $200 a month plan, $200 a month. Plus I have a $100 a month, so $300 a month gets me instant code. Crazy. So what's that? $10 a day to have a 24-hour developer that answers me 24/7 and does what I ask immediately? How can anybody compete with that? Humans just can't compete with that. The only way to compete is to be able to manage this stuff at the speed of the entrepreneur you're working with. Because if I hire you to do it and I realize I could have just been asking this for the same thing and not waited 3 days because you weren't asking it, I was willing to. Why am I paying you to manage it if I could just manage it, right? It's just normal if you think about it, right? So let's see where it's at. See, writing code. So just so you understand, if you're not a coder, whenever you see the green, that's new code. Whenever you see red, that's being deleted. So when you scroll like this and you see new code, green, that's all new code. And to be honest, deleting code is scary because you could delete code and it breaks, right? So you also don't want to do that. Come here, right? You don't want to do that willy-nilly. So the fact that it understands enough to do this so fast, there's almost no way humans are going to be able to do that. It's literally impossible. It's going to become agent on agent, like I was telling you. That's the only way. Like the speed of understanding is just, and I understand that even me, I'm doing it, and I'm like, wow, even my ability to process what it's doing, multiple windows, is getting better. But I also know I am ADD, right? I haven't been diagnosed, but I understand that my brain is built for this. Not everybody is. It's very hard for people to like be able to think of so many different things at the same time. But my brain is doing that all the time, literally. So I'm constantly thinking of like 5 different things. Yes, I changed it so compare action no longer swaps. The full image in place. Now when you hold compare button, it shows a fixed side by side. All right. I didn't want that. You didn't understand. But again, it didn't take that long, so. Oh yeah, maybe it is. Okay, so it did change very little, but not even. It didn't change really at all. So okay, I'm going to do it one more time. Face. Make it look more like Miguel. Maybe that's what I need to say. Since it knows my name in the pack. Maybe that's what needs to happen. And again, still didn't make the animation. So keeps forgetting that. And that's a human thing too. Okay. If I get this to make the change, I'll be happy. And tomorrow I think I'll keep working on this. I'm gonna just keep working on this till it's done. Unless you want something else, you tell me. I'm here for you guys. I'm building many different things. So this partly one of my goals is as well for people to tell me what they need. I told you I built a book AI agent for my dad and my friends that wanted to make books. So okay, it's still not changing. All right, so now I know. It really doesn't look like the thumbnail's changing at all. I've been telling it to change my face. It's made like 4 thumbnails. It hasn't changed my face. I told it, make it look like Miguel. I told it, make it look like me. It doesn't seem to understand that, or it's just not making any changes at all to the thumbnail. What do you think we can do to fix that? So sometimes a reverse prompt is also good. What I just did there is I said, you tell me what we should do. Because it's not working. So now it'll come up with probably a plan. And it's probably been 20 minutes. Let me look up my Claude. And maybe I'll go back to Claude if it doesn't fix this in a few. Alright, so current session is already 11%. I guess before I ended it kept doing the next one. Resets Wednesday, I'm at 60%. So I'm way ahead actually, right? I'm going too hard with Claude. I gotta spend more time with Codex because I'm gonna run out of my Claude before Wednesday. If we already, it's only 2 days since Wednesday, so I got 5 days to do 40%. So I need to chill on Claude. So I'm going to start doing that. Leave Claude alone for a little while. But at the same time, my OpenClaw runs on this as well. So whatever that is doing, it's also using Claude. But I make it use Claude in a lesser way. It just uses Claude as the brain, and ChatGPT or Codex is the builder. So Claude uses less tokens here. All right, so the clip extract. Okay, so I want to make sure you use 5.4 in the local models and Minimax for as much as possible, because we're running up on using too much of your tokens. So let's just use you for orchestration as much as possible. Is that what you're doing right now, or are you using Claude for a lot of this? Because for it to go up 11%, I think Claude was being used. Content engine blocked. Needs your call. One approved clip ready to submit to Navo, but Navo submissions is irreversible. I don't want you to submit to Navo. I just want to start realizing that the clips that you're choosing is good for us to chop. So Navo is not going to take any of this. It's going to be all local. Navo is only going to take it when we want to post it to social media. Does that make sense? So, okay. Honest answer, no. I've been doing too much myself. Every sub agent I spawned today is still Claude. That's what I've been using. I've been using way too much because it's been spinning up multiple agents and it's still using the Claude. Here's what should change. File reads, GLM Flash, Q triage, Qwen 3.5. So on my Mac Mini, I'm also running local LLMs. Code builds Codex. Yep. What I keep. Final decision. Spec task. Yep. Talking to you. Yep. 2 things I need to make this real. Confirm Codex is set up in an ACP agent in OpenClaw. I have the OAuth set up for Codex, for OpenAI or ChatGPT. You should be able to do whatever you need there. Minimax 2.5 is also set up. I believe you have the API key. If you need another one, let me know. Once I know the right invocation for each, I'll route. All right, so Yes, makes total sense. So Navo is just distribution layer, not the production layer. Okay, it understood that. Estimated time 20 minutes is 840. Base confidence 85. CTO checked and it boosted the confidence 3 points. Dispatch. See, so now it's working how I want it. And then I'll just give it the thumbs up. So now let's come back to this and see where it's at. The issue was real. The edit flow was preserving the old thumbnail face too aggressively. Alright. So from now, for the new face edits, yes, it should behave differently now. Alright. Alright, let's see. But as you can see, the speed, like, I marvel at what people can get done now with this. I'm just looking at myself, what I can do. I can imagine people who never did anything like this before being able to do. I got a friend who built a website, never built a website in his life, built the best website he's ever seen himself, just using Claude. Oops. Make the face look more like Miguel Sanchez, the image model that we've been using. So that's another thing I need to ask. When I'm referencing myself, like I say, make it look more like me. Does it know that I'm referencing the Miguel Sanchez Laura or whatever? The Miguel images, if I say me? All right, let me verify both are reachable before dispatching work through them. Here's what I found. Codex CLI confirmed, ready to use. Minimax, the model string config. Need to confirm the right alias. Okay, I'll have to get on the computer to do that. Local models, they work. So Minimax, I gotta get on the computer. Once I get off, I'll get on the Mac Mini to make sure it has my API keys for that. For Caption Burner, I'll dispatch CLI. Now, while clarify Minimax, yep. Working on local Caption Burner. All right. Estimated time 20 minutes. 82 confidence score went up to 88. Okay, dispatch CLI, good. It's Codex. Dispatching now. Codex is building it. On Minimax, just let me know 2.5. And I'll route research content tasks there instead of burning Claude tokens on them. All right, let's see if that works. Not by name, no. It does not parse me and resolves that to Miguel Sanchez semantically. Dope. That's awesome. Thumbnail. So the behavior is, if your project was created from Miguel Pack, make it look like more like me. Effectively means make it more like Miguel, for instance. All right, awesome. All right, it's doing it. All right, fixing face. Finally, the animation is there after like 7 times I said it. But again, not much different than humans. Cheaper and faster. So, okay, so, see, look, it's still growing. This went to 18 from 11. So right now, I am using too much of Claude. Hopefully this fixes that. So I'm working on this one. No, I'm working on this one still. So I'm going to bold this just to remind myself if this goes a little bit longer, I'll just wait till tomorrow. But let's hope. Let's hope this time it fixes it. Sounded pretty decent that it was going to. If you want the safest wording, use make the face match the reference photos more closely. That's good feedback right there. Okay, look. Okay, so it's fixing face. It's doing this. Using SafePack, add photo only if you want to strengthen it. So per image, 13 cents. So I've basically been paying 13 cents every time it messed up. But also, I got $300 of free credits, so I've been paying nothing really. But one day, I may have to pay 13 cents. We'll see. I got a lot of emails. I'm gonna do like $3,000 of free images. This is taking long. It's taking pretty long. I'm gonna ask. It's taking pretty long. Could it be stuck? Let's see if there's any questions. Any questions while we're here waiting for this to fix? What else do you want me to build? I didn't tell you guys yet. I can't talk about this one yet, but I'm launching something else that I believe could help people take advantage of AI, and something that we use every day and pay for every month. So I'm building that too. Once I got that, I'll be promoting that. Yeah, I just, my goal right now is to figure out how to like create a marketing machine, content engine, then test a bunch of ideas to see what people want, and then build the ones that I think have the most traction or that people want. And once I have that, I'll just have a machine that just keeps going. Doesn't look like, did it do it? No, I didn't make any change. No. Yeah, I don't think it did anything. Yeah, it didn't do it. One more time, last time. I'm going to copy the reference that he said. Okay, whatever though. Oh, it was still going here. Oh, I don't know what's going on. So, okay, let me see. Yes, for this project. The current thumbnail project is tied to me. No, it's just taking a long time, and I wonder if it's just stuck or it just takes long. All right, look, yeah, the same thing. No change at all, really. Yeah. Not really fixing this. I also keep seeing the same exact image, which makes me think that it's not giving the prompt, because there's no way it would create the exact same image each time, right? So, again, me playing around with this stuff for months now, years now, really, with image stuff and video. Kind of, see sometimes what's happening based on trying other things. So some of my answers are a little different than maybe you would say. But again, this is why you got to start playing with this stuff. You don't know what you're going to learn, and as you learn, it's just the learning compounds. And I think right now we're in this moment where you can keep compounding your learning before the masses get here, and they're probably going to have to do this kind of stuff, or everybody's going to have to be a plumber or electrician. You have a lead. I checked it. They are not literally the same file. For the last 6 edit thumbnails, the file have different hashes and sizes, so the backend is generating new outputs, but they are extremely similar. Why is that happening? The edit prompts are basically the same each time, all derived from the same source. Old edit flow was designed to preserve the original image very tightly. Also runs use random false. The key point, your local server process started at 740. Using the older behavior, not the newer identity priority edit. So my answer is no, it's not reusing exact same image file. Yes, it can still produce nearly the same image over and over. The main reason is the running server has not been restarted. So restart it. If you want, I could... Yes, restart it. Should have said that a long time ago. So again, it's not like easy breezy, but it's way easier than it used to be. That rhymes, maybe. Yeah. Might clip that one. So the idea is use this to do things you probably never could have done before. I would have never done this before. Never. Would have never had time to code all this. I would have just paid for a service. And I was paying for a service. I was paying $45 a month for a service to do this. But I was not even using the $45 a month. I would always leave extra and I would forget. And I wasn't even creating that many images. Because I had to go into the thing and do it. This is going to create thumbnails for me. Automatically upload them to YouTube based on the video. That's stuff that company was not going to build for me. So I'm able to build it for myself. All right, new server. Oops. What's going on here? No. Restart the server. / thumbnails. Okay. Let's see. One more time. And it gets frustrating. I'm not going to even act like this is not annoying. Make it look more like me. Let's see. Okay. Fingers crossed it will work this time. So, what else was that? Okay, let's see what's going on with the team over here. Maya and the team got it wrong flag. The right command is codex exec and minimax is m.25. Let me fix both. Codex is building it with the correct command. Also noted minimax 2.5. I'll use that for research. Content task will update you when caption burner is ready around 8:45. That's awesome. That's what you want, right? Like employees that are working all the time, 24/7. So this is like a little team that I'm trying to build up. And then the overall goal is have that team duplicate over every project, working 24/7. Again, I'll probably have to maximize my plans. But again, what does that mean? $400 a month to have multiple teams working full-time 24/7? We live in crazy times. We live in really crazy times. Okay. Doesn't look like it did anything different. Still not different. All right. Okay, we restarted the server. I hard refreshed. I tried it again. I said look like me. Make it look more like me. It still looks like the image is the exact same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally take a screenshot so you can see. I think it can see already, but just in case. So this is the work. You know, it's Friday night. Some people want to be in clubs, partying. I want to talk to AI and build stuff. But this is the work, right? At the end of the day, now this is the work. As an entrepreneur, as a employee, like maybe somebody would hire me to do this, right? And say, hey, Miguel, I'll pay you to make me a thumbnail service for me, but this is how I want it. And I would be paid to do this because they don't want to do this. So that is a value being traded for money, right? And I think that's a job of the future. I'm taking ownership of a problem a person has. They're paying me to do it, right? So, yeah, it's not super easy, but this is literally impossible to do without taking months and thousands of dollars. Like if I was going to really be hired to do this, I would have needed a team, right? Designer, developer, I'm the creative director, maybe a UX person. That's at least 4 roles. I'm doing all of it by myself on the side of other real projects. And same with this project. And if you know, my main project is Stack. I'm doing crazy stuff with Stack. And I'm still doing these side projects. And I'm starting to consult with people. Hour here, 2 hours there. Could never do all this. But again, I'm really trying to take advantage of this stuff. So I'm learning it in and out. Alright, so I'm updating the face edit decision logic. So now a repeated fail looks like me attempts automatically to switch to rebuild from reference. Alright, we're going to see. If this works, we end it. If it doesn't, we end it. Any questions before we leave? This is a lotto ticket. Let's see if we win. Alright, so I'm probably going to have to update the server after. Does the server have to update or restart to make this change? So I'm going to wait till it's done. Loaded AP1, API v1, staged approval. The server stopped cleanly. Okay, it did it. Back up now. Okay, there it goes. With the latest face edit, rebuild logic loaded. Alright. Oops. I checked the latest outputs. They were not literally the same file, but they were near clones. The key clue was that the thumbnail 14 had already gone through the newer identity priority path, but it still didn't escalate because the AI likeness score kept calling it 85%. How is that? Oh, I didn't change it each time. I have it as a 25. Oh, I see what it's doing. It keeps doing 85. All right. Okay, I changed the thumbnail generator, repeat failed face edits. So shouldn't it keep the previous face score, likeness score? Alright, but I'm going to test it anyway. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go to the 25% one. Face. Make it look more like me. Come on. No, this is the real last one. One more. Any questions? Nope. All right. Come on. This is the last one for real. Look how it made me look. This is funny. Oh, you can't see it. Look how it made me look. Let's see side by side. Oh, so you're supposed to hold side by side. You're supposed to show that. That is funny. That's a funny way to end it. There you go, AI me. That's funny. At least it changed, though. We're making progress. On that note, thank you for watching. Whenever you watch, however long you watch, thank you so much. Especially you live watchers, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, comment, press notifications. See you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. Build and invest. Thank you.